Hello everyone, this is Mukesh Manali. Once again, after a long gap of about 3 to 4 months, I'm here to discuss the Hindi newspaper. Uh, uh, it's going to be a daily series, though it is quite late today. It's already around 10:25 of night, but it's better than never. I am hoping to continue this discussions for longer period of time. Hoping to upload daily live sessions by around 11 a.m. So without any further delay, let's move to our topics. So firstly, we're going to discuss about the security issues. The important news which is being published today in the newspaper is about the Amarnath Yatra. Is what Amarnath Yatra. Amarnath Yatra Amarnath is considered as one of the four holy shrines of the Char Dham Yatra, and this year, after the shortfall of yatris in the past 2 years, the authorities are expecting around 8 lakh footfall. The authorities are expecting about 8 lakh footfall this year. It is actually quite high compared to the previous years. For this, the authorities are taking the food planned administrative work, which was earlier taken in case of the Kumbh Mela. So they taken in the case of the Kumbh Mela. The drones are being used. The security has been beefed up. The emergency response has been deployed. And all the works which are done to make the yatra a peaceful congregation for the yatris as well as for the people living nearby. Actually, it's if you see this kind of events in the Indian polity, it have many aspects. Firstly is the religious aspect, or we can say it's a cultural aspect for the Hindus, that they consider it's a holy shrine, and so it's considered a kind of a holy duty for them to visit that place. So it's kind of create a notion that which generates a social capital for the administration. So first important thing is it's generated social capital for the administration. Second is, if we see the area, this kind of events like Kumbh Mela or the Mela in Assam in the month of April and June, this kind of events helps to pump the economy before any major event. Like, see, we're going to the newspaper daily, we will see that in the northeast, especially in the Arunachal Pradesh, in Nagaland, in Meghalaya, and Assam, or in some areas of Bengal also, the floods are approaching. And before that, if we have such kind of events, this kind of events helps the local people in earning the livelihood, or we can say that these kind of events help to pump the economy with money before a natural calamity or such things enters. As you already know that after taking away all the specialties of Jammu and Kashmir, there has been quite a security beef up, and the economic activity has not been carried out in such a scale as it was earlier when there was a specialty status. Though we are expecting that the economic activity will be much higher as compared to the previous one, because the special status is considered as a kind of hindrance in way of the economic and societal integration of the Jammu and Kashmir in India. So now it's considered that Jammu and Kashmir is going to be completely integrated with India in all aspects of culture, economic, and other spheres. So Amarnath Yatra will kind to help, we can say they can kind to help the local populace in earning the economic activity, also in the religious and cultural aspect. Also, if we see in the past, then we will see that it's a major event for both the security personnel, whether it's the army or the local police. So it's a kind of event which marks the importance in Indian society. So let's move to our next clip. There is nothing more in this. As we're talking about the floods in northeast region, in case of Assam, the Assam CM has made an important statement. He says that the flood which were being done in the Silchar area was a man-made. Actually, there was a report that some miscreants has opened and made a hole in the embankments of the Bethakandi, river, and which is causing the flood in the Silchar area. So it's kind of a security issue. for the people of Assam. And for this check, the security for checking this kind of events in future, the security needs comprehensive security process has to be developed, which will check on this kind of minor issues, but which have major implications. So it's a second one, and the third one is that China upgrades power. It's a kind of international. It's kind of related to the IR also, international relations also, but it will also form the part of our internal security as well as external security. So it's surely can be covered here also. The China has upgraded the firepower LAC within the 100-kilometer radius of the LAC. The China is developing the massive army. Actually it's a report by the sources. It's not an official statement. It's a report from the sources. So the China is building a massive structures within the 100-kilometer radius of the LAC, and which includes the Air Force, Army, tank regiment, and beefing up the soldiers, number of soldiers. I think it's given about 20,000 soldiers for the standoff. Now it's currently have 1.2 lakh billets. India currently having 1.2 lakh billets. So it's a kind of massive soldier beef up around the border, and it's again a security challenge for India, because as we can see that so we cannot say for sure, but we can for example, with the tactics that Russia adopted before it started its invasion of the Ukraine or its attack on Ukraine. Firstly, he conducted some of the security exercises around Ukraine. Suppose this is Ukraine, and there is a Belarus, and there is Russia. So this is this kind of border with Ukraine, and there is a Belarus. Firstly, the Russia amassed a large number of troops around the border area in the name of the military exercises. They were conducting some of the military exercises. Yeah. And secondly, they went into Belarus, and they also conducted there the military exercises. And thereby the US intelligence has declared that Russia is going to invade the Ukraine. But at that time, though there was a seriousness around though there were not a seriousness, but other nations were conscious of the effort, and US also started its evacuation within its embassy and its people. He already issued the guidelines to its people that leave the area as soon as possible to the Ukraine, because the USA is going to invade. And after not a so quite surprise, the Russia invaded. In the same case, the security situation is also involved. It is also evolving around India and China in the LAC. Though not a pervasive invasion, the China can start a short-term war in India. So we have to there no official statement, no there was any intelligence information about this, but the short-term effort can be taken by the China to start a short-term conflict, which may serve its interest to some extent. Also, there was a weaponry upgrade. And secondary security, there is a cyber. The issue is with cyber security. It's about the VPN. VPN is a virtual private network, which allows the users to be virtually present or utilize the physical assets. It's a little bit complicated if we go by the technical definition. Suppose there is a PC, or we can say suppose there is one printer in the office. Suppose there is one printer and there are 100 employees in the office, and only there is one printer in the office, and of the 100, around 50 employees works on the system, that suppose PC or the personal laptop. And for them, they want to take out the printout at a random point of time during the day. And there are two things that a person, either the company allowed the printer to every person, or they can use the single printer through the VPN network. VPN network allows all the 50 employees to utilize the printer at the same time during any period of time if they are connected within a local network. So the point for being in the news is that VPN rules have been amended in 2021. So the big VPN companies like We can say there's Surfshark is a Surfshark, QuickNet, Surfshark. They're saying that the new amendment which is proposed by the government of India is not in their business interest, not in their economic interest, because the government has said that they have to store the information for the longer period of time. For about customer logs has to be stored for 180 days or 3 months time period, and the private information about the customers has to be stored for about 5 years. And this applies not only the VPN companies working in India, but any company situated outside India but having connections with India or doing any activity with India. The government can ask for any information with their private users about their customers or the users. So VPN, the reason for the government for strengthening the VPN rules is to curb the illegal activities. As we can see that illegal activities can easily be traced by, can easily be seen by a local populace also. Suppose we go with, for example, the app, like there's some app in the market where you can easily get the information, any pirated information, any illegal information, XYZ. So the government is trying to strengthen the rules for the VPN so that the illegal activities can be limited within a sphere, and the government can easily tackle all those challenges arising out of it. Now let's come to the polity. Now we are going to talk about the GTA. GTA is the Gorkhaland Territorial Administration, which is in West Bengal. It is a semi-autonomous region, and for the first time in last 10 years, elections are held there with a voting percentage of 57%. And there were around 7 lakh voters, so about 4 lakh voters cast their vote. And now the major parties like BJP has not put place any candidates. There were a total of 227 candidates. The GTA is extended over 2 districts of West Bengal. Sorry for the right thing. And information is announced. We're going to find the state. There were 169 independent candidates, and for the last 10 years there have been no elections. Now there have been elections for the local administration, not for the state elections, but the local administration of the GTA region only. That is Gorkhaland Territorial Administration. And also there was a security, though there was no report of violence. Some independent events of violence were reported. Voting closes for there was no report of any violence from the hills, but some independent events of violence at the polling booths were also reported, but that was not on a major scale. And it's really for the West Bengal because the kind of a structure it's going to strengthen the political structure of the West Bengal. Now, second, coming to the another political concept, that is GST, and how it is related to the federalism. Now, since the rollout of GST, the opposition has been demanding that it is going to hamper the federal structure of the country. Federal structure means the relation between the center and the state, how the constitution has distributed powers in the center and state, whether legislative, executive, or financial powers. The GST is going to bring disruptions in those powers, and that's a claim every then and now being raised by the opposition political parties. And also the event related to that GST cess. So where it is here, the GST cess, which is to compensate the producing states, has been extended for another 5 years, and it's going to be about 226 of March, I think. Has been for 27. It's going to be It's going to be collected from the customers till March 2027. And it's basically the cess is levied on the luxury goods and sin goods. These are the goods which consumptions are restricted or goods which consumptions whose consumptions are demoralized, or we can say that restricted by the government, like alcohol and other psychotropic substances, and luxury goods like cars and other important items like jewelry. I think I don't know about jewelry. So the opposition is making the comment that due to the pandemic there were already disruptions in collection of GST, and the states have no power in collection of their own tax, which was earlier in the regime that state can impose their own tax. Now only they can impose tax on the agricultural commodities, and other spares have been distributed among the center and the state. Though it has created the smoothness in the tax structure statement, but it has left the state with the limited powers to impose the taxes. And in the pandemic, during the time of pandemic, we see that state are asking or making the petitions to the center to send more credit to the states, and they're making comment that if the case has been the former one, where the GST has not been introduced in the economy, the state may be free to better utilize their resources. But we have to see that the GST is not the better. Surely the GST have some. We cannot say that the GST is. GST aims to create the one tax, one nation, one tax structure. It aims to create a structure where there is one nation, one tax, and in theory is going to strengthen the federalism. So, but due to disruptions in some sudden disruption in the economy, the GST structure has also been tensed, or we can say had come under the several criticism. But with the time, if we remove such lacunae and such kind of strain from the system, that surely is going to strengthen the federal concept of the nation. Inaction doesn't imply. It's a case. Actually, it's about a case on the PM Modi during 2002 Gujarat riots. Mr. Modi was the Prime Minister of Gujarat. He was CM of Gujarat, and that time the riot has happened, and the victim and the persons have filed a case against the CM that he has not taken any action, and he have further strengthened the spirit of those making the chaos. But the Supreme Court had declared, has ruled that inaction by some official doesn't mean that the whole system is corrupt. We can though there was some neglection on the part of the officers against whom the actions is to be taken, the state cannot be questioned, or the whole government cannot be questioned that they are the real mind or the real miscreants in making the riots, in rollout of the riots. The Supreme Court has ruled down the case against Mr. Modi, and it's related to that one. And they have said that there is no conspiracy on the part of the ruling party or the government to bring out the riots. Now, second is related to independence, as we're going to celebrate 25 years of independence. The central government is planning so that every house in the country hosts the tricolor. On the Independence Day. So they're making special efforts, making the tricolor available at the online platforms, shopping platforms and other areas, so that the general public can easily access them and host this auspicious day with the tricolor in their mind and their house. Now next, coming to the socialism, there's been again the discussions have got fired about the abortion. Abortion basically means the termination of pregnancy especially by the mother, for some reasons after the child has been conceived. Actually, that's not the case, because after the fertilization has happened, it's a big critical, big technical one. So the abortion rule says that now the abortion period has already been increased from 20. We can say. It is from 24 to 30 weeks, where it is from 24 to 30 weeks. Now till 30 weeks, the female can get the abortion, but it's for this to happen, it needs to get a special permission from the medical authorities. What is this? Wait a minute. Yeah, it's fine. Special permission from the authorities. Actually, it's we can say it's not happening only in India, but also in the United States, because there is a important case ruling whereby the majority of 6-3, the Supreme Court of United States has said that the state are free, not a judiciary, not a personal choice, but the states are free to make a law for regulation of the pregnancy. And they guys and NGOs and other women institutions are making the protest against the judgment by saying that the abortion is a personal matter, and it's also a kind of fundamental, though it's not been mentioned in the constitution, but it's a kind of fundamental right upon the body and life on the part of the mother, and how the things are making changes. It's a little bit complex issue. Before being indulging into all those issues, what the law says and what the other thing says, if we look at some of the scientific concepts related to it, we can go to some of the scientific articles which are being written related to this. Like this was written by the Laura Sanders. It says that before we are making any statement about what's abortion and what is all things, firstly we have to see something. We have to keep something in mind. Firstly, the time period. Which the law defines for the termination of pregnancy. Suppose it is 6 weeks after the conception, and according to scientific parameters, the conception is not a thing to be made when the egg is fertilized, but it seems to be made when the egg was released when the egg was present in the uterus, means 2 weeks before. Suppose if 6 week time is given, which means actually after the fertilization only 4 weeks time is given for the termination of pregnancy, which is 28 days, and which is even less. 28 days for the termination of pregnancy. In the case of it's a case of the Texas. The argument is made in this article. And second is related to what is fertilization, or what is birth, or what is conception. It says that after the conception has been made, actually fertilization is the article says the fertilization is a complex procedure. It's not simply of the meeting of the sperms and the ovaries, but it's a complex process of how the fertilized egg being. We can say that there is a 50% chances that after the egg has been fertilized, that it's going to give the birth to the new ones. There are only 50% chances, because it also depends on the placement of the egg in the uterus walls, and whether there is any abnormality in the growth of the embryo and all the other things. If we are taking that into account, then we have to little bit widen our definition related to the conception of the birth or the fertilization. And third says about the pain. What is pain? The argument is made that the killing of a infant in the womb of the mother, which is going to be painful for the infant. Painful. The scientific argument that is being made that it says that around 28 weeks are needed after the conception. So at least 28 weeks are needed after the conception to make the child nervous system actually workable related to the pain, so that he can have the sensation of the pain of what is things. So 28 weeks period is again a long period. So the laws must also define all these things that so the law makers should also keep in mind that 28 weeks can be the another standard or another yardstick to measure whether it's a thing or not. Now there are 2-3 more arguments about that. You can also look after that. Now so don't worry about animosity. Again is the social orientation of the people about the disease. Endemicity. The people think that it's become a regular part of the life. It's natural to have it's normal to have someone have the COVID, and it's natural the COVID be present in the society for a long period of time. Then we say it's going to endemicity. So the main argument of article is not related to endemicity, but the experts which have been the experts which have been quoted in this article says that we should focus on the more positive aspects, that is medication, that is vaccination, taking proper care, and being strict regarding the adherence to social norms related to COVID-19. That's the main point, but understanding is something different. Now, India is committed to use the single-use plastic by 2022 from 1st of July. And in this step only, the Himachal Pradesh said that they are going to incentivize the school children for bringing the single-use plastic in their house to the schools, and they're going to purchase it from the students. So they are encouraged to collect more and more for about 75 rupees per kg. And also it's being going to be rolled out in the colleges and other institutions. So it's going to create a kind of it's going to create a kind of, we can say, mental changes or mental awareness in the children from the early childhood period, that the single-use plastic is hazardous in society. We should try to eradicate it in every form. That's the news. Himachal Pradesh by single-use plastic from July 1st. Also, India has made a commitment to reduce single-use plastic by 2022. That's a real thing. I think that's a good initiative, because inculcating such kind of values from the early childhood will surely provide our upcoming generations with a kind of scientific temper regarding the environment, which we often see missing in our previous lists about the whole things. That's my favorite animal, elephant. Elephants are known for their intelligence. We have often seen the videos on YouTube that the elephant is trying to cross the hurdles put by the humans. You can see if they are barbed wires, they're going to put the some long pole about those barred sticks to cross such boundaries and go inside the fields and eat something. So now they're going to instill the sirens, not for the elephants but for the pedestrians, or for the people who are crossing the NHA. Actually, suppose there is an NHA, this is national highway, and there is a forest area, and here is the peak. I should make it clear. Is it? Suppose there is NH, national highway, or any kind of road, and there is a forest area, and then there is a village or residential area where the people resides, and slowly they're going to be they're going to be traffic there. The authorities decided to put the sirens here, which will correct the information about the movement of the elephants using the IR cameras, infrared cameras, and will put on the siren to the people moving on this road about the movement of the elephants or moving of the herd, and the traffic can be stopped for some period of time so the elephants can easily cross over here. And actually, if you notice that it's a monsoon season, and also already the fields are ready for cultivation of the crops. So the elephants ingression are going to be more on this actually. That's one sort, we can say that's one less effective initiative on the part of society to reduce our man-animal conflict among its civilian. Mysuru traditional crop, it is spotlight on economic benefits of amaranthus. Amaranthus is cholai. हरी सब्जी इसको हम बोलते हैं हिंदी में, लाल चौलाई, actually लाल चौलाई. Another name is also there, but लाल चौलाई is the famous one. It's like hari sabji, but it have many nutrition benefits. So actually in the Mysuru, the farmers organized, we can say that organized a field where they collected all the different types of different varieties of amaranthus from the country. There were around 30 variants of amaranthus collected from all over the country, and they cultivated in a small field of area different types of variants. And after that, they've done the assessment using the scientific parameters. The soil scientists were also invited, the agriculturists were invited, and they tried to find out which variety of the amaranthus is best suited for that climatic region, and basis of this, they're going to cultivate that variety of amaranthus. It's going to give the another boost for the farmers' income if the business plan works out. Now that's a simple one. Now let's come to the editorial directly. Person name is Sajid Mir. Sajid Majid Mir. This is Sajid Majid Mir. He's one of the involvement in the 26/11 attack on Mumbai in 2018. Sorry, in 2008. 2008. And the Pakistan court have declared him as convict, and the further proceedings are going on. And the editorial basically talks about for India to try to extradite it back into India so that he can face further charges. Though it's not the internationally designated terrorist in the UNSC, but part of it is connected with it because in month of June and July, the FATF, Financial Action Task Force, is going to review the status of Pakistan, whether to remove it or to keep it or to further derogate its status from the grey list. And Pakistan has said that it is committed to move up a level of remove its name from the grey list by the end of this year. And for this, they are actually they are putting many efforts for this. And kind of we can say that conviction of Sajid Majid Mir is a kind of in line with Pakistan commitment, but India needs to but the editorial says that India needs to put on more efforts to remove the ties and to bring all the force in control, all the foils in control, which have been involved in the attack on Mumbai in 2008. Attack in Mumbai, not Mumbai, on Mumbai. Attack in Mumbai. Yes, it's again about the abortion only, so it is over abortion. It says the Supreme Court, the US has removed the, we can say, have ruled out its earlier judgment of 1973, and hereby giving the power to the state to adopt abortion law, to guiding the abortion in the state. It says that this kind of parameters are going to be both beneficial as well as disastrous for the society. For the disastrous one, we can say that United States have 50 states, USA has 50 states, and some states like Texas have already adopted some kind of laws, and while other states may not be as conservative, the word conservative has been used here, may not be as conservative and may freely allow the abortion by making the right, by making the fundamental right on the part of for the woman. So it's kind of create a resource imbalance. We can say the migration of people from the states allowing from the states not allowing abortion to the states allowing abortion. And also this kind of practices may lead to be we can say, I have invented this term, home abortion. Home abortion means home abortion is the illegal way of having the medical practices in a local by area or the nearby area where where in the state the kind of practices are not allowed. It's a different point. But on the positive aspect, we can say that if all the state processes together, the law can be fully implemented in writing and spirit. Another positive way can be state abortion. We can say that more scientific clarity can be brought in about the health of women and child, because it's also important that the issues are being discussed at a large scale or at a societal scale, because society is paying due attention of such kind of issues which affects the women. So that's we can say that the consciousness of scientific consciousness may come among the states, among the state and civilians. Now coming to the IR part, the international relations. Actually, there is an event called G7. Event, no, it's a grouping. They are meeting in Germany on 26 and 27. India is not member of this. It's a group of richest nation of the world. The members are USA, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, UK. All this thing. Russia is not of this. They are meeting and they are doing. And India has been invited as a guest. So PM Modi is attending it. India has been invited. Indonesia has been invited. EU has been invited. The European Union members have been invited. Okay. Also, of the G7 members, only Japan is non-NATO member. All others are NATO members of this grouping. So they're going to discuss about the related current situation of the Russia and Ukraine conflict. So PM Modi has been invited, and PM Modi is saying that we are looking forward. India is looking forward having the fruitful discussions with the nations on the issue of climate change, security, environmental issues, and other areas like security, all those things. And also they have adopted, though it's not mentioned here, they have adopted around 600 million package. 600 million. It will come in the other section of the IR, I think. $600 million package to counter the China's BRI. $600 million package. It will be privately powered. It will be to create a global infrastructure network to counter the China's BRI. With the members grouping, with the group members as a diplomatic, influencing infrastructure, which doesn't involve the charity or other social benefits, but the hegemony of China to be present in every corner of the world and having the influencing power. So they are going to adopt this one. Also, when members landed in Germany when the members landed in Germany, the Russia attacked Kyiv. So till now it is present in the eastern Ukraine and somewhere southern Ukraine. Now when the members reached the Germany, Russia launched a cruise missile on Kyiv capital. They were destroying a residential building. It was launched from the Caspian Sea. Yeah, it was launched from the Caspian Sea, and the members have condemned it openly. The US have said that it's a barbarian act. The Germany has said we have to work in. We say that we have to work in coordination and in together to counter the Russia's offense and to hold it responsible for the misery creating for the people of India. So Russia has said it's for the security purpose that they are invading the Kyiv. They are attacking the Ukraine. But that's wrong. That war actually, we can see the impact of the war. The reason for the war can be manifolded. It can be given as a security reason, which is obvious. That is to say that any for security purpose, NATO has already reached its there. They have also increased that stockpile of weaponry in the Eastern Europe region. Other reason can be that. Other reason can be also be said that in the Eastern Donbass region, the people want separation from the Ukraine. They are holding themselves as a pro-Russian. But whatever the reason has been given, if we look at the ground situation, we see that the common people are there who are suffering. If we see at the last, there was a point, the city of Severodonetsk. Actually, there was 100,000, means 1 lakh people were there before the invasion of Russia, and now it's totally grounded. Means the infrastructure has been grounded. The city is unrecognizable, and all the people has fled, and some of them may have been killed. But actually, if we see the ground situation, the actual impact of such kind of war is with the people, how the people is with the people only. Action impacts with the people only. They have to face the miseries. So on this ground, surely the war is a bad thing. Mahatma Gandhi once said that war is immoral. While unliking the war, Mahatma Gandhi said that it demoralizes the one who are prepared to fight it. That's the true thing. That's the statement that Mahatma Gandhi made, and that's the true thing also, that it's always going to demoralize both the nations. And we should also we should be open, though there are some issues with the security purpose, with the separatist regions, all those things, but we should also be open for the discussions, on the table discussions, because we can get the lessons from the history that all the peace treaties are being made while sitting on the table, while discussing or negotiating the party, between the discussing and negotiating between the parties. And war is not the final solution. Basically, it will arise more conflicts in the future. But they can take the lesson from the history that till 1991 they have the common ancestry. We can say that till 1991 they have the common ancestry. They were sharing the same house. They were, because they are sharing the same region. And after the 1991, though they have separated, they should think that we are though we are having some common differences, we are having some differences in our ideological approach, in our security approach, in our societal approach, or another approach. But though we are different now, but actually we were same in our ancestors. We can take a lesson from that, and we should stop the other things. Also, the dangerous thing is happening that the Ukraine is saying that they will going to fight till the last stage, for the last stage. So it is for boosting the morale of the soldiers, but if the public starts the war, if the actual Ukrainians start the war against the Russian soldiers, the loss will be massive on the both sides, and that will be devastating. We should keep that also in mind. And also, the good leadership is in the thing that how you protect your people. Yeah, leadership means how you protect the people, and we can see that from the India, that so we have some political differences, so we are sometimes in kind of political activities, or which are not good character political activities. But we know that our leadership lies in the value that how we protect our people, and that's something that both Russia and Ukraine should understand. What leadership is. And so coming to second IR topic, that is the Russia-Iran. In 2018, the Donald Trump walked out of the Iranian deal of disarming the Iran of nuclear weapons. Walked out, and till then the Iran says that we are going to enrich our uranium stockpile for the weapon grade. And now the defense Department of Iran have claimed that they have already put a satellite into the space using the cruise rockets. That's another thing. And US have said that they are aware of the event, and they have also showed they have also shared the imagery of the system. That's another thing. That's if found to be correct in all the facets, then we can say that Iran is also extending its arm in the space sphere. And US said that such kind of things will only delay any solution on the nuclear disarmament. And that's the same thing. Oh, actually, it's been given here. Okay, I thought it was not there. Sorry. These are proposals which are meeting in Germany. They have said that we are going to have a 6 billion global infra plan to rival China's BRI infra plan. The difference only being the China's BRI and infra plan is going to be that the BRI is state powered, the infra plan of the G7 members is not state powered, it's a private infra plan, means the private institutions related to the government of the respective states will going to build up the infrastructure. So it's a private venture on the part of the G7 nations, and the BRI is a totally centrally sponsored government's interventions. And so it's going to strengthen the governance. The adoption of the infra plan shows the strengthening of the India's stand related to the BRI. India is from very starting, the very beginning has opposed the BRI at its passes through the POK region of India, and the territory for it has been ceded to China by the India. Now it's finally with the Sri Lanka. See, Sri Lanka has an economic crisis. They are having the import bill. They have the huge import bill, and the reserves are already are available only for 2 days of imports of oil. See, so the government is saying that we are going to strategize its use, and we are in the process of having the financial assistance from the global from the global institutions or any other institution. Also, the USA is very likely to help the Sri Lanka in helping in moving out of this crisis. So they are going to be huge queues outside the petrol pumps and other essential services. And actually, the rate has gone about 550 rupees for the liter of petrol. And about that, it's a very dire situation and can have other consequences for India. But it seems that though there was some isolated clashes with the authorities in some pockets, but the overall public sentiment has been that they understood the problem and they are trying to cope it together. That's a good one. And that's the end of this discussion. But it was not very good and also not very bad. It was simply the same thing. Okay, see you next time. We have to stop. We have to stop.